Hey golfers, welcome back to the channel. Today's video focuses on the P word. What is it? Practice. That's right. Everyone has to do it to get better. Even the best golfers, they're out there grinding, doesn't matter what time of the year is. And also amateur golfers want to get better, well, you have to practice. Well, believe it or not, I also am a professional golfer. I play professionally in the Minnesota PGA section. I just won the PGA Player of the Year in 2024 award, and that gets me a spot in the PGA Tour 3M Open. So that's a very important event for me in 2025 in July. I wanted to show up and really perform. I don't want to just try and make the cut. I'd love to perform really well. So I've got some really important goals. In the short term, I have an event. I'm going out to Torrey Pines in the beginning of December. I haven't had the chance to play a lot of golf, competitive golf, in Minnesota. As you know, it gets pretty cold up here. Since the beginning of October, I haven't played it much, but I'm still working on my golf swing. Today, I'm going to bring you in depth and talk about my particular practice and what I do. And I'm going to take you through a practice session. In this particular practice session, we are focusing on three fundamentals. The first fundamental I'm going to be focusing on is the takeaway. So my takeaway maintenance. Generally, I have a tendency to take the club a little outside with my hands, so I'm going to be working on that. The second part of the practice session is going to be focused on dynamic lie. So I have a tendency for the club to sometimes dig into the ground a little. I have a little bit of early extension in my golf swing, so I'm going to be focusing on trying to not early extend and have the club come in a little bit more square to the ground. And the final thing is club path. I have a tendency to draw the ball. My club path is usually 4 or 5 degrees end out, and you'll notice when I'm hitting here, very consistent around 4 degrees. But can I improve that? So the third part I'll focus on is club path. So let's get after it. Let's hit some shots. Before I hit them, please subscribe to this channel. You're going to really appreciate all the content I'm going to bring you. You're going to see the full practice session here. I'm going to hit about 25 shots per fundamental that I'm working on. So the first one is the swing plane line and takeaway. So I'm going to bring you over and take a look on Swing Catalyst, and I'll show you just exactly what I mean with regards to the swing plane line. So what I like to do is I like to draw a line straight through the golf shaft and up through the body, and I like to use that as a reference during the takeaway to see where the club is, whether it's to the right or whether it's to the left of that red line. And as we're going back here, I want to stay pretty close to that red line. So that's what the main focus is when we are hitting these particular shots. So you can notice while I'm hitting here, I'm going to speed up all of the shots for you to see here, otherwise it's going to be a very long video. But you can see how I'm really focusing on trying to stay as close to that red line. I'm looking at the camera, I'm following where the hands want to go, and I'm rehearsing the takeaway. And when I'm doing that, I'm trying to get that club to stay on that red line that I can see on a second camera view, and I'm also trying to avoid those hands to go out. You will notice, even though I rehearse it, it is really hard for me to get that club to go underneath that red line. I don't believe the club ever gets underneath that red line while I'm doing that because my swing is so ingrained. But when it comes down to it, the more work you put in, the more consistent that takeaway will be. And we all know what our tendencies are in our golf swing. And I know with my golf swing, that is the tendency for the hands to move a little out and the club to follow through. And what that does is that gets me a little bit steep at the top of the golf swing. And I don't like that. So that's what I'm working on with regards to takeaway. The second focus of this practice session is one that a lot of golfers can relate to. Early extension. So generally speaking, if you have tight hips and you want to and also you want to shallow out the golf swing, generally speaking, a lot of golfers their lower body will move towards the ball, the upper body will move back a little, and what we'll call is early extension. So what I like to focus on is during the downswing is I like to feel like I'm giving myself a little bit of a, I don't know, I think back to Tiger Woods. When I see Tiger Woods doing exaggerations on the downswing, I see him trying to really exaggerate that squat. So that's what I focus on. Let's take a look up here on swing callus, and I'll just kind of show you exactly what I mean with regards to early extension. So what I like to do is I like to draw the red line on my back side, and I like to try and keep that right hip, what looks like the right hip, stays on that red line on the backswing, but then on the downswing, really focus on trying to keep the lower body on that red line and not let the upper body hunch up as much. So what this really does is this influences dynamic loft. If the lower body moves a little closer towards the ball, upper body crunches up, sometimes what you'll see is the club generally will happen to be more toe down. So what you'll notice when I'm hitting shots is I'm about 5 degrees toe down, and I don't like that. I'm not going to bend my club 5 degrees upright and play a 5-degree upright lie angle. I play my clubs at standard lie. That's kind of where I fit in. I would hook the ball all day if I played a club 5 degrees upright. So I work on trying to neutralize that by trying to limit my early extension in the golf swing, and then trying to feel like as I'm coming through, like the club's coming a little bit shallower on the downswing. So really, really important part of the golf swing. Exaggerations, you'll notice that I'm working really hard here, but I have a hard time staying on that line. So that's the second part, early extension. The third part of the practice session, final part, is to do with hand path through the ball or related to club path. Now, we all want to try and focus on trying to get our club path as close to zero. Everyone talks about a zero club path. I don't want to do that by changing my downswing. I really like the position I'm in on the downswing. But what I tend to do on the follow through is my hands stay out from the body a little bit longer. It's almost like the hands work away rather than what would feel like exiting left. So let's take a look over here and take a look on the camera at the hand path. And you'll notice that I drew a circle right around where the hands come through. And you'll notice my hands don't really exit left. They just kind of stay out in front of the body. So when I'm working on this maintenance work, I'm really focusing on trying to get the hands and the hips to turn left pretty hard. And it really feels like my hips are working and working and working. It might not look like it in video. I can tell you my hips feel like they're working hard. And I have a very tight left hip flexor, which always kind of makes this quite challenging. The other part of this too is when you do it right, is the club will exit more through the shoulders. If you're too far kind of in to out, that club will exit more towards your neck area. If you're more out to in, the club will exit further left down your back. But you want the club to exit more through your shoulders. And then at the top of the swing, and on the follow through, I always talk about like a 90-degree L angle. I don't quite get there when my club path is more in to out, but when I get those hips to turn and get the hands to exit more left, it's a more pronounced L, which looks like more like a 90-degree angle. And that's what I really work on with regards to club path. When I'm hitting here, so I'm hitting 25 shots, you can see that I'm really exaggerating this. And what you'll notice is I've gone from my normal about 4 degrees in to out, and I've cut it in half. And cutting it in half when you're doing your practice sessions, that's a huge goal to achieve. Because my swing's so ingrained, I'm not just naturally going to go from 4 degrees in to out and then all of a sudden 6 degrees left. It's just not going to happen. It takes practice. It really, really takes practice. So moving that to 2 degrees from 4 degrees, I'm very happy with. I don't want to be negative because I like to play a tiny little draw, but that's very important to focus on, is it takes some hard work. Let me know what you think of today's video. This is a unique one. This is showing you all my golf swings today. I hit 75 shots during this practice session. I split it up to 3 segments. really important to focus on one thing at once. So I focus on one thing. The first one was the takeaway. The second one was early extension and not doing it. And the third one was like my hand path through the ball. When I was focusing on them, I was focusing on one thing. Hope you like this video. Please subscribe to my channel so I can bring you more stuff.